all the gear, all the time. All the gear, all the time. Good day to you! Codger Biker here. I want to talk about beginner bikes. So there's a lot of nonsense talks on the internet about what's a beginner bike. Is it a 400cc? Is it a 500cc? Is it a 750? Or should you just start off on a litre bike? Total tosh. Stay with me and I'll explain. Well, here we are in wonderful Lincolnshire. Look at that. What a beautiful evening. And on an evening like this, there's nothing better than being out on your motorbike, blasting away the sunshine, wind blowing through your helmet. But you may have noticed that I'm not on Wolfgang. I'm on a rather different steed tonight. I'm on what's a proper beginner's bike, as you shall see. Oh yeah. Belting. So, do you reckon we should off-road? Maybe. Maybe we should. So, as far as I'm concerned, despite what your millennials might say, with their bum-fluff beards, can you say that anymore? Probably not. With their artisan beards, that's better. A beginner bike should never have more than 49.9 cc. So I have such a bike here. This is Peugeot Trekker Off-Road. That's what it's called. It's not an off-road bike, it's just called an off-road. And this is the kind of bike, when I grew up around here, these are the very roads on which I first rode any kind of vehicle. That's what we had. And you learn how to ride a bike, you learn how to push a bike home, you learn how to fix it at the side of the road. You were a beginner. So as you can see, cruising at 70 miles an hour. That's a lie. 70 kilometers an hour. That's a lie also. Feels like about 25 miles an hour, but it says 45 because it's French. This is a Peugeot. Two-stroke, 49.9 cc. What a beast. Lovely soft tyres. So we have got at our disposal, when new, 5 horsepower, 2-stroke horsepower. We have an electric start. We have a hydraulic front brake with a disc. We have 2 mirrors. We have a fuel gauge. Whether it works or not is yet to be determined. And this bike is a 2003, as I say, Peugeot Trekker. But it's far more. That's a right laugh. In the right place, which is here, in the sunshine, on a weekend evening, in my old Lincolnshire, where I grew up. So here we are now doing a little bit of 50cc off-roading, and of course, you know, I'm a beginner, I'm learning my skills. I could fall off, but if I do, I can pick it up and go home. But that's not going to happen, is it? Take it nice and steady. It's not up to going fast. Don't worry, Wolfgang, you've not been usurped. Now in a moment I'm going to pull over and give you a little walk around. You know, I reckon I could take this over the Wayfarer. Probably have to carry it half the way, but you know, I'll get over. That's it, pal. So here we go. 2003 Peugeot 50 off-road trekker. Upside down forks, off-road tyres, disc brake, an engine, another shock absorber. What more do you want? And on these vehicles you can learn to ride safely. No matter how many times you fall off it, you're probably not going to damage the bike, and you're probably not going to damage yourself. But you can learn quite a lot of control on these things. And if you're into quadrophenia, you could keep your parker and everything in there. Look, 2-stroke oil, 2-stroke fuel. But I know what you're thinking. That's all well and good, Codger. You've proved you can go down the road, you've proved you can off-road, but you haven't proved you can see the sea. You're right, let's go. Of course, this is where you've got to be very careful, because I've not got a lot of power, so I've got to be absolutely sure it's clear before I go. Again, good training. Let's go. Here's the speedo. Whizzing round to 50, 60. Head down. Wow, this is how you learn to tuck. 50cc bike. The more tuck you can get, the faster you're going to go. We are now doing 75 miles an hour. This is fantastic. I love this. Doesn't matter what bike you've got, all bikes are great. Indicate left, shoulder check, both sides, slow down, take the corner at a safe speed, cancel your indicator. We are beginning to ride. Now this is my old road where I grew up. We're just going to go past my old house in a minute. And this was pretty normal, didn't think anything of it. Morris told me it had recently been resurfaced, I think I mentioned earlier. But half-heartedly I should suggest. Now of course, as a beginner bike, brakes, well back in the day they were drum brakes. This at least has got one disc brake, but they're not to be taken for granted. So you learn to spread your braking, anticipate dangers, throw into a corner. How good is that? Oh look, the new tarmac. My old house was over that hedge. I would stand up, but I don't think it's I can reach the handlebars if I do. Centrifugal clutch. And round the corner. They were impressed. Did you see their faces? So as a beginner rider, I'm now starting to build the attraction for motorcycles. It's already made me more attractive to both genders. I've impressed people with my skills, and I've barely been above 25 miles an hour. This is what a beginner bike is all about. If I'd been going around there on a litre bike, not knowing what to do and falling off, who's that impressing? Just adjust my mirror there. As a beginner bike, the mirrors move on their own, which is good, because it means I learn to adjust them and check them properly. Noticing that they are no longer facing behind me is a good thing, because it means I'm checking. So that's a bit of feedback. Oh yeah. The wind came from behind then and blew a nice scent of the blue mist. The 2-stroke smell. Oh, here we go, off-road on sand. We've got balloon tyres, so we should be okay. Keep the weight off the front. Tackle the sand. And there we are. Look at that, that's a lovely seaside. Somebody over there burying a body, nice to see. Always get rid of the evidence. Beautiful. When I grew up, none of this sand was here. The beach used to be down there, about 10 foot, but that's coastal defences for you. It's a shame because those shallows always used to smash, and as kids we used to find all sorts. It was technically looting, but yes, officer, that dinghy fell into our house. Kickstart. Well, there you go. It's a simple bike to start and operate. The engine is running. I expended no electricity. Have that, electricity companies. What a gradient. Ah, we whiz up it. Here's another cyclist. Give a nice wave to you, sir. Gave me a little nod back. Respect. He too was a learner, proudly brandishing his L plate. That's what your CBT's for. Now, having grown into the cycle, some people might say it's time for a larger engine, but I don't think so. I think what we do now is we maximise what we've got by trying to get a knee down on this corner, which should be a laugh because there's a car coming. Close, but I have to admit the knee remained firmly up in the air, basically because my knees are up by my chest. So, but the thought was there, which is the main thing. So here we are now. We are maximum speed, hurtling down the highway like a thunderbolt, going into the corner, choosing the racing line, keeping the power on. No need for the centrifugal clutch to slow down at any point. We're now 75 miles an hour. It doesn't feel like that. Must be this French seat. One thing this bike has got is the most comfortable seat in the world. It's so soft, I must have sunk in it about 6 inches. Really absorbs the bumps. I've got twin headlights up front. No dip or anything, they just stay where they are at all times. Again, minimising the amount of things I've got to think about as a learner. Okay, I see the corner coming, easing my speed down now. 30 miles an hour is far too fast, so drop it down to about 40 kilometres an hour, and round we go on the new asphalt. There's very little difference between riding this now that I've got used to it and riding Superbike at Le Mans. Right, let's catch some air. Are you watching Jack Miller? Woohoo! Sorry, what we should do next is we have done B roads, we've been out in the countryside, we've done some off-road riding, we've done a bit of seaside riding, sand. We've done country lanes. I think now we need to try some urban. So let's head off into town and impress all and sundry with our biking skills. Needs to be said properly. The town of Huttoft. But we're going to head into the metropolis of Sutton-on-Sea now, where I not only began my biking life but also my hard drinking and womanising. There in a saloon on a street of mud, there at the table dealing stood, sat the dirty mangy dog that named me Codger Biker. I said, my name is Codger Biker, how do you do? Now you're gonna die. No, it's a call into the pub and have one. But, no, we should go left, down the highway. So we're in the metropolis. We've done that, everything's fine. Navigating the traffic, elderly people, Codger bikers themselves no doubt. Wondering who that young whippersnapper is, flying past on his machine. Oh, we're now cruising at 80 kilometres an hour, which is 50 miles an hour. It doesn't look like 50 miles an hour to me.
That's doing 50.
No way is it. That's 30 miles an hour maximum. It's not a two-stroke. The house I grew up in came out of that lake. It's a brick pit. Every brick on the house had a handprint where they had been picked out the mud and put into the moulds. Now earlier on I saw a French lady wearing stilettos coming down here riding a bicycle. I'm not making that up. She had a Chanel bag on a bicycle, so if she's here anywhere I'll pull over and say, "Good day, mademoiselle. I'm on a Peugeot. It's French style." We're going straight into the sun. Again, been on a proper beginner bike, 49cc. I'm hopefully not going to be going too fast to hit one of these hidden bumps in the road. They're not hidden by the road themselves, it's just that I'm being dazzled by the sun. I'm travelling the same roads I learnt to ride on at the same speeds with the same engine capacity as I did in 1979. Well, I'm enjoying it. This bike itself is a very, very willing little engine on it. It really does want to go. Bit of gravel in the road. This is quite tricky, but we'll navigate it. Basically because the road subsided on that side. Beautiful tree, look at that. So, I'm going to carry on riding a little bit more, probably until the sun's completely set, because it's such a laugh. Hello pheasants. It really doesn't matter what bike you've got, as long as the engine works. If you've got countryside like this and a bit of the freedom to ride around, it's just priceless. So rather than looking for the next bike, which I'm as guilty of as anybody else, appreciate what you've got, because you could be on a Peugeot Tracker 50 off-road, which is just fine by me in this kind of scenery. Look at the road here, it's fantastic. And on that note, before I fall off, Codger Biker is out. Fantastic, I love this bike. Cheers Morris, what a laugh.
Gotta keep it rocking everywhere I go. Everybody join us for good company.
Peugeot Tracker 50 off-road, beautiful.